Going to be looking at page 14 in this video, which is the first tracks page that covers for loops or fixed loops, if you want to call them that. As usual, going to highlight the variables. So we've got number, table, I is small there. Don't know if anybody saw the fly just flying in front of the camera, but I guess I'll find out soon. Anyway, so we've got the variables selected, and obviously fixed loops is when you repeat something over and over again. This one is just going to be a times table program. I have wrote down here I is commonly used for, it stands for index, and it's just a common thing you use for making a variable with loops. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it counter, you can call it loop. I just like to call it I, because that's what most programmers do. Right, so arrows, we're going to put arrows in there. One down here. Now because it's a loop, it's going to go round until that's met. So we're going to put our arrow up here, and we're going to look at how many times does it go round. So it goes round 5 times, 1 to 6, and just write 5 there to keep yourself right. Fill in the columns as before. Number, meant to say number. Table, meant to say table. And I. Set number to 0. Receive the table, so you're receiving a times table from the keyboard. I've said here that we're going to be typing in 5 for our example. For I from 1 to 6. So what happens is, and you might know how many times a loop repeats, but the whole point of this in Tracks is to show you what's actually happening step by step, and it will make sense when we get to more complex programs using loops. So I is set to, it actually gets, there's a variable called I, we haven't just made it for no reason, and it is actually set to 1. The number is set to 1 inside. And if you want, you go set the number, which is currently 0, to table times I. So it'll look up table, which is 5, and it'll look up I, which is 1, and it just goes 5 times 1. So 5 times 1 is the new number, which is just 5. Then it will send the number to display, so it will print it out there, 5. We go around for I from 1 to 6. So what this actually means is every time you go around, it will go up 1 more until it reaches 6. So it will get to 2, and set number to table times I. Well, table hasn't changed. Table won't change this whole program. It's 5. 5 times 2 is 10. And then 10. And then it hits this bit, goes back around. We haven't done it 5 times yet. So we go around. Well, what happens when you go up? I goes up another 1. So the value actually changes. Even though you can't see it, this is what's happening. And then you get 3, and then you times that by table, which is 5, so you can get 15. You can probably see where this is going by now. Go back round, we add on another 1, get to 4, so 4 times 5 is 20. I'll try and rush through the last bits, and then it goes round again, get to 5, and we write 25. Now it gets to here. When it gets to 6, it just stops. It won't do anymore. So that'll be us, the 5 times table. How would you do this in Python then? So I'll get Python up, right? And you just write, so the first line is number equals 0, and then we have to ask for a table. So table equals int input. Almost forgot the int bit there, so just say something like enter a times table, and then we do our loop. So for I in range, notice how I isn't highlighted because it's a variable, but you could call this counter, you could call it loop if you wanted. I'm going to call it I. For I in range, and we say 0 to, not 0, sorry, normally it's 0, most of the time you're going to do 0, but for this one we're going to do 1 because it's a times table. We don't want to times by 0 the first time round, that's why we've made it 1. And we say 1 to 6. Right, number equals table times I, and then you print number. That's what send number to display means. Same with when you end an if statement. Python doesn't have a line of code to end an if statement. All you've got to do in Python to end the if statement is dedent it, unindent it, just press the delete button. That's it. Or you can just leave it. That's you done the end repeat. I mean, you can leave it in this program because there's no more code. If there was, don't leave it. Press the delete button. So yeah, press the delete button for end repeat. That's it. So if we run this, let's see if it works. Let's type in 5, and we get our 5 times table there. I think that's everything, right? So that is page 14, the first page of Trax loops.